Hey Bayek, it's me Ian, and in today's video I'm continuing my look at classic albums from my CD collection, and this is Tapestry by Carole King from 1971. This is considered one of the all-time great albums. It really is. Now this was her second studio album. Previously, we'd had Writer, and then after this, we've got Carole King Music 1971. Now, she was born Carole King Klein on the February the 9th, 1942. And at a very young age, 3 years old, her mother, who sort of showed her basics on the piano, she could see already some sort of skills there. And when she was 4, her mother then began to teach her more, sort of more formal manner. And it was quite clear she already had musical pitch. She could identify notes. So, of course, that developed. And then in the 1950s, at school, for instance, she formed a band called the Cosigns, and she changed her name to Carole King. And she made demo records with Paul Simon, yes, Paul Simon, the Paul Simon. And that cost $25 for each one that they made. Her first official recording was The Right Girl, released by ABC Paramount in 1958. And it was at Queen's College that she met a songwriting partner, Jerry Goffin. Now, Neil Sedaka, who had been a boyfriend, had written a song called Oh Carole, and they wrote sort of a reply called Oh Neil. And then developed from this the songwriting partnership. And they wrote Will You Love Me Tomorrow? And this was a big hit for the Shirelles. And it was the first #1 by a black all-girl group, which is quite an achievement. And they decided then to concentrate on songwriting full-time. And a debut album then was Writer in 1970. And from that, a career developed, with this album, Tapestry, being the one that propelled her really into the big time. Though, as I say, she already had this career as a songwriter, but this album just represented so much of that period, and he's seen as such a big album. It truly is a classic album. And as a career, this was great for her. This really propelled her out there. And she's still performing today. She has had 16 studio albums, 1 Christmas album, 5 live albums, and 2 compilation albums. And in 2016, at Hyde Park, she performed Tapestry live. And then this was released in 2017 as an album. So we got Tapestry live at Hyde Park, 2017. She also has 1 soundtrack album. And she's also done some acting in films and TV. And this album, I just want to give you how phenomenal this album is. It is now worldwide 14 times platinum album. That is massive. It has to be one of the all-time biggest selling albums. And when you look at it now, you just think, wow, what an achievement this is. So, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll have a look at this album. Okay. So as I say, it's her second studio album. It was recorded January 1971, and it was released on the 10th of February 1971. So it was released very quickly after the recording was made. And it was on the ODE and A&M labels. Now, it's produced by Lou Adler, who was a producer for Janis Joplin, the Mamas and the Papas, Neil Young, Spirit, Cass Elliot, Johnny Rivers, and Jim McCary took the cover photo in Carole's living room. Yes, and there it is, that iconic photo now as we see it of the album cover. Fantastic. So let's have a look at the lineup of musicians on this album. We've got, of course, Carole King on lead and backing vocals, piano and keyboards. Then we've got Ralph Schubert, who plays the electric piano. And then we have got the singer-songwriter James Taylor, who plays acoustic guitar and backing vocals. And he was to be have a wonderful career as well as a singer-songwriter. Amazing writer himself in his own right. And, well, what can you say? It's fantastic. Then we've got Danny Cooch Karanchma, I'm sorry about this, who plays acoustic and electric guitars and the congas and backing vocals. And then we've got Perry Seinberg, who plays bass guitar. Then we've got Charles Larky, who plays bass guitar and string bass. We've got Russ Kunke playing drums, Joel O'Brien drums, Curtis Amy flute, tenor sax, David Campbell viola, Barry Sosha violin, Terry King cello, and this is interesting, Joni Mitchell, yes, the Joni Mitchell, brilliant, absolutely brilliant singer-songwriter. She does backing vocals on Will You Love Me Tomorrow, which is just an iconic song, isn't it? And then we've got Mary Clayton and Julie Tillman doing backing vocals. Now here is a list of all the tracks on the original release. There has been special editions, but we're just looking at the original album release. So the first track was I Feel the Earth Move. And second was So Far Away. The third track, It's Too Late, which is written by Stern and King. And then Home Again, these say written by King. Then 5, we've got Beautiful. 6, Way Over Younger. 7, You Got a Friend. Wow, what a track that is. And then 8 is Where You Lead, which is a Stern King song. And then Will You Love Me Tomorrow, of course, is a Goffin King song. Amazing track, outstanding. Then we've got Smackwater Jack, which is Goffin King. Then 11, we have got Tapestry. And finally, the 12th track, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. Wow, that's a great ending to the album. The whole album is just full of so much wonderful songwriting and singing and performing. And it's easy to see why this became such a classic album. It really is. It just sums up that period. I always think of this with Don McLean and his album, all that with American Pie and Vincent and all that wonderful. This album is perhaps, I think, even more um, outstanding. It really is. It's one of those. It's a masterclass in songwriting as well as performing. That Carole King does such a good job on this album, and everything comes together. Sometimes this happens in music, that for some reason an album, everything comes together. Some albums, some artists talk about the struggles in a studio, getting things right. This album all just came together beautifully. And it's wonderful to listen nowadays and still think, wow, it stands up so well. And it does. It does. You cannot deny this at all, because this album is so strong. And that is why it's become an iconic album in many ways. So many artists have looked at this and recorded these songs from this album, because the album is an absolute classic. If anybody who hasn't heard it, you must listen to this album and appreciate how great this album is. It's something. It's an essential part of any music collection. This album is outstanding. I can't recommend it enough. I love it. And I say her career is still there, and she's still performing. And the fact that she still did this concert in 2016 in Hyde Park, performing the whole album, how wonderful is that? It is. It's still there, and I just love this album. Absolutely love it. And it brings back so many memories as well for me of when I was starting my musical journey. It's one of these earlier albums when I'd already started to move, saying that music was much more than just pop singles in the charts. It was albums and albums. So before I go, I'll just show you the album. Here it is, this wonderful CD. You have seen the cover, but I'll show you it there. With the cat there looking on. And there's the back and all the original track listing. Absolutely fantastic. And I'll just show you inside. It's a standard CD inside. Beautiful. Always look beautiful. As I say, I love these. Absolutely love CDs. And it's so wonderful to have a classic album like this. Fantastic. They're all classics, as I say, in my collection. But this truly is it's an important album of my musical journey as well. Definitely. So there we are. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and we'll let you know when I put out a video. And if you look at the playlist, you'll see all the albums that I've reviewed. So I've looked at all the music I look at. But I also do a lot of films and TV shows. So have a look at the playlist. You might find something you might enjoy, hopefully. Now, if you like this video, please give this video a like. If you give it a like, it gets it out onto YouTube, and hopefully our algorithms and other people might like it. And if you have any comments, please put your comments down. I love to read your comments, and I'll always reply. And that's it. Yes. So, all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.